But I don't think that you would really want to exist in the world with superhuman strength. Like, you'd be ripping people's arms off all the time. Okay, if you could somehow go back in time, do you think your younger self would listen to your older self?
No, but I think that's the way life is. I feel like nobody when you're young listens to people that say they're experienced whatever.
I know what you mean, right? I think that as you get older, you find this equal combination of, oh, I should have listened to those people, they were right, and oh, why did I ever listen to those people? They have no idea what they're talking about.
I mean, if we listen to the older adults as younger people, you're not going to have any fun. You're not going to have any life experiences. You're going to be essentially a robot, probably.
How many influential older people would you say that you had in your life? Not a relative, but someone who was older than you that you would say was influential in a positive way in your life.
I mean, I'm going to say less than 10, but it might be less than 5 if I really thought about it.
I can only think of 2 people in my life that were influential in a positive way who are older than me. But I polled the audience. 65% of people said yes. 35% said no, they probably would not listen. I don't know if I would listen to me.
No,
I mean, in some ways, your parents are kind of like you, and you don't really listen to them. Do you listen to your parents?
no.
Yeah, I don't really listen to my parents either.
Yeah, I just couldn't see myself at a younger age listening to me now. I'd be like, okay, let's see where life takes us.
In your life, do you think that you have had more good examples of what to do or more bad examples of what not to do?
It's probably 50-50, maybe leaning, doing the right things.
I would say mine is probably a little closer to more examples of people who did things the wrong way. Like, oh, I shouldn't do that.
All right, let's see how you react to some of these quick fire topics here, which you'll probably end up ruining, but we'll try anyways. We'll start with this one: a moon pod.
What's a moon pod?
Apparently, they're going to start going on sale, and essentially it's a gigantic beanbag chair, but it's shaped like the moon, and it's supposed to go around your body and just provide ultimate comfort.
How have we not reached ultimate comfort by now? Like, if we haven't figured out already what's the best pillow, bed, couch, whatever, we're not gonna figure it out. Like, how complicated can this be? Like, no. Change the shape on the end and make it a hexagon, and then this will revolutionize the comfort industry. Like, how have we not received maximum comfort already?
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
They should have left that alone. Gene Wilder is the definitive Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and that's one of those movies that they should just stop remaking, stop messing with it. They achieve perfection, and the best that is going to be with that one movie, and it's never going to be replaced. And every other time that they try to do it, it's just going to be a forgettable waste of time. Stop remaking that movie.
I do really feel in that instance that if you're not the first and the last, if you're one of those weird ones in the middle, like wasn't Hugh Grant involved in one remake, and then you had
Loompa,
Johnny Depp in another? Like, no one's gonna remember those. Like,
no, Gene Wilder did the best. That movie, that should be one of those things that anybody with a brain should be able to look at that movie and be like, we're not gonna beat that.
that really made me laugh. All right, this whole Netflix sports idea. I don't know if you saw the last, I guess, live event they did, but it was a tennis match with Rafael Nadal and one of the younger stars, Carlos Alcatraz. But regardless, what do you think of the whole Netflix sports, live sports concept?
I mean, I'm fine with it as long as I don't have to pay any more money. But if they keep trying to find ways to try to screw us out of money and try to charge us a little bit more and provide a little bit less, like when now they're trying to get ads in there and all these kind of things, it's weird how streaming is basically turning back into cable. But I'm fine with whatever they do, but I'm not paying any more money. I feel like people are starting to put their foot down and like, no, we got to put a stop to this. Charging people for subscriptions for car things that they already had where they want to make you pay extra for your heated seats, stuff like that, like dynamic pricing at Wendy's when they're going to try to charge you based on the time of day. Like, no. We as a society need to put our foot down and be like, that's enough of this crap.
That was actually one of my things I was going to ask you about was the dynamic pricing. I think that I'm glad, Wendy's, if you're not familiar with it, Wendy's came out last week. I maybe it leaked out, whatever, but it came out that they were going to try possibly something in the future with dynamic pricing where certain items were going to be more money based on, like you said, the time of day, supplies, etc. That is absurd to me. That is not that I'm necessarily against it, but I think it's absurd. No matter what the circumstances, say you want I don't know, a breakfast sandwich at McDonald's, and they're running a little low on egg that day, so they jack the price up a buck. Like, that's not fair to the consumer. That's not our fault. Like,
this is what I think is going to be a fundamental problem for our society moving forward in the United States, is that we're a population that's based on growth, and we're not growing anymore. So you got to figure out a way to essentially rip off customers to make more money, and we've got to put a stop to it now. Be like, nope, we're not doing this.
I mean, I read something, and don't fact check me on this because the number is wrong, but it was something like if an average household pays $175 in cable, if you have cable.
Yeah, we gotta, like, no way, man. That stuff's too expensive. Also, if you have cable, call your cable provider like every 2 months and say you're gonna quit, and they'll keep dropping the price. I used to do that all the time.
Well, so then the second part of that is apparently the average, if you don't have cable, but you still use internet through a cable provider or something like that, and with streaming services, the average per month was like 150 anyways. So it's insane. It's insane.
That's why you always got to do the year math, man. You always got to do the year math. It's not $10 a month. It's $120 a year, right? It doesn't seem they got to do the year math. That's my philosophy. I'm done preaching.
Year math. I love it. I just threw this one in there because this was something local to me, but Braylon Edwards, former NFL superstar, stopped a robbery in progress of an elderly man. So that's the first part of it. Congratulations, you, Braylon. Possibly a listener, by the way. Secondly, do you think, I'm not asking you per se, but do you think if a regular bystander is seeing something like that occur, do you think they're going to step in or look the other way?
I think most people would probably kind of look the other way. It depends a little bit where you live, but I think that most people would look the other way because you just don't know, man. Like, you don't know who's got what or who can do what. But I think if you're a former professional athlete, you have a little bit more leeway in the sense that, like, I'm probably going to be able to handle myself.
I mean, we kind of talked about it last week, right? Like, if you're a professional athlete, you're a professional athlete. I mean, you kind of already have a professional athlete. You kind of already have one up on the rest of us. So congratulations on that. All right. Kind of staying with the sports theme here. March Madness. Do you care? Don't you care?
I don't know.
All right. That's fair enough too. You can just not care.
I'd like to care, but then it's one of those things that, like, oh, I'm excited about it coming up, and then when it gets here, I'm just like, oh, okay. I don't quite see what the amazing thing about it is, right? Like, oh, northeastern Western Tennessee is about to take on these people. Like, okay, cool.
I mean, that's like you just said, meh, or whatever you said. It's all good. So everyone knows about the girl dad phenomenon that happened a couple of years ago. It's still kind of, yes, you know what it is. Girl dad this, girl dad this. Anyways, well, now there's something started called boy dad.
Yeah.
And I don't really get it because I feel like,
well, what is it?
Well, the girl dad phenomenon was like, oh, look at all these dads that have just girls, right? It's when you have just a girl. You don't have to have multiple children.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for boy dads. Now they're saying dads who just have boys are the greatest, this and that, because they're just great for their boys. I just don't get it. I don't get any trend like this. I just don't understand it.
I think you get what you get. I mean, I guess to answer your question, like, okay, cool.
All right.
Why is no. All right, girl dad. Now we're back at boy dad. Like, all right, hey man, be happy with what you got. You got one girl, one boy, two boys, two girls, whatever.
Nope.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Just stop there. I love it. I love that one answer. Hopefully you edit that last part out. All right, two more things here. One is the Stanley Cup absurdity, where apparently now like a regular Stanley Cup is going for $150. That's insane.
Well, what is it? Is it turning into a collector's item kind of thing? I mean, like,
But they're not. But unless they release a limited edition color, like it's just a Tervis tumbler. Like it's. I don't get it.
I don't understand how water and hydration all of a sudden became the most important thing in the solve of all life's problems. Like, oh, you got this? You broke your leg? Well, you're probably just dehydrated. Like, I used to have like one drink of water a day
That's
walking past the bubbler at school that you could sneak in before they told you to get to class. Like, you used to have one drink of water a day, and now all of a sudden we have to be hydrated like we're staying in the middle of the ocean.
I will.
$150 for that. That's
Oh,
ridiculous.
it's insane. It's about as insane as this final topic I'm going to ask you about, which is apparently Gen Z. That's right, Gen Z, the greatest generation of all, wants to bring back landline phones because they want to twirl the cords.
Well, I mean, just connect one to your cell phone. Like, landlines aren't coming back. You're still the only man in America who probably has a landline. And it's a waste of, how much money is it?
I actually just looked, and I was kind of flabbergasted. It is $12.99 a month we pay for this thing.
Yeah, dude, that's $144 a year, and you've had it for how long?
6 years, 8 years.
All right, so you're looking at 150 times like 600. That's $900 you've wasted. You've wasted $1,000 on a landline that probably only receives a call once every month.
No, it's
even once a month.
No, it's probably once a week.
Is it anybody that you know?
Yeah, I mean the wife and I will call that sometimes instead of our cell phones because we don't get the greatest reception in my house sometimes.
Well, maybe invest that money that you could have in better cell phone reception and not in a landline. Could kill two birds with one stone. I don't care what anybody, look, whatever one generation wants to do, you want to bring back this, you want to bring back that, fine. I do feel like you should maybe have a little bit of a better reason than twisting the cords. I don't know if that's really going to get that thing off the bat. What I want to see come back is ski ballet. I want ski ballet to come back. I don't think I've ever laughed that hard in my entire life. It's incredible.
That just makes me think of that video I sent you the other day on Instagram where the skier is going down the hill in some type of world competition, and he runs into one of those flagpoles that he's supposed to go around, and it catches him square on in the dick, and he just starts screaming, and it's hilariously funny.
Dude, those guys are going. I also have to admit, I very rarely watch the things that people send me. Well, if people, my wife included, if you're going to tag me in something on social media or you're going to send me something on social media, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it.
All right, well.
I'm fine. I'm fine not knowing. I don't like to be sent things. I'd rather be left alone.
Listen, can we send this to the best part of the month?
Oh, is it go? Candle of the month. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Come on, man.
March, baby. All right. One more second. Okay. No, I got it. It's time. The outlaw candle connoisseur rides again. Candle of the month.
Well, Nick, let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? Got to give a shout out first off.
Can you pick a voice? What voice are you going to do? Because you're trying to go between like three different ones. Just pick one and stick with that for more than 3 words in a sentence.
I can't. Well, we'll stick with this one. Like my excited voice, I guess.
Okay.
So I got to give a shout out to Darcy, a friend of a friend. Apparently listens to the podcast and talked to the mutual friend we have in common and recommended this candle. So shout out to you, Darcy, who I've still really never met before, but regardless, I was kind of against it. We'll start off with a company. It is by Goose Creek is the company. I received it. What is it? March. I think it was a gift back in January, but I will tell you, it's not only a candle of creativity, but it's a candle of culture. And I'll say that. The title of it is Wonka's Golden Ticket.
Oh, that's a good title.
And obviously kind of released pseudo-ly as a promotional item, I'm sure, with the movie that's coming out or is due to come out, whatever. But beyond all the garbage of cinema, This candle is amazing. It's going to be relatively cheap. I think it's on sale or should be on sale for about half price, which should run you about $12 to $15. It's going to be a 3 wick candle. And if you're looking for what notes it has, well, it's Willy Wonka, right? And it's wrapped in like a gold film, like a candy bar, like the Willy Wonka golden bar. So it's going to be like chocolate, vanilla cream, caramel. It's definitely a candle that if you weren't hungry for sweets, as it burns, you'll be, oh, what smells like chocolate? Well, I can't eat the candle, so I'm gonna go grab a Reese's peanut butter cup or something. But anyways, it's awesome. It's a little different than anything I've really showcased before on Candle of the Month. But check it out. You can get it from GooseCreekCandle.com. And once again, Darcy, shout out to you
Well, listen, when you develop a reputation as a candle connoisseur, people want to know what you think about candles. Do you feel like you have a sophisticated palate, average palate, or do you feel like you have kind of a trashy palate when it comes to candles?
I feel like I have an all-around kind of palate. I mean, I feel like, especially
whatever you're in the mood for,
having done this now for going on 2 years, at least a year and a half, I've been able to have some great recommendations. It's funny. People like my personal friends, my friend group here, they had no idea. They still don't believe me, some of them, I'm sure, but I don't know what to tell them. So
yeah, I wouldn't believe you. Are you ready for our top 5?
Let's disappear into the top 5.
Oh, nice. I see what you did there. So our top 5 is top 5 practical superpowers, like superpowers that you could actually have and use in the real world and would be practical. Like, oh, that would actually be helpful. What's your number 5?
My number 5, I'm going with being able to read someone's mind.
Ooh, I have that a little bit lower on the list.
I
have that a little bit lower on the list.
The reason why it's at my number 5 is simply I don't think I would ever want to be able to know what people are thinking about me or thinking in general. But I do think it would be good to be able to do that for many different reasons. But I don't really want to be able to, but I do think it's important enough to put it into a top 5 list.
I agree. My number 5 is super strength, but only a little super strength. Like Captain America super strength. I think if you were like the Hulk, that would actually be really hard to exist in the world. So a little bit of super strength, I think, would be a great power to have.
Well, our top 5s are kind of indicative of each other because I also have superhuman strength on my list, but also a little bit further up the road. My number 4. Look, my top 3 were pretty much set. My number 4 was the one that was kind of iffy. But if I have to be put on the spot, I'm going to go with being able to use teleportation as my number 4.
Oh, I think that should be way higher.
Once again,
I think that should be way higher.
In practicality terms, it makes sense, but I feel like there's just way too many things that could go wrong. And if you have everyone teleporting, you're going to have people running in each other. They're going to be showing up in Abu Dhabi when they mean to go to London. Like it's going to need some ironing out, but once again, it deserves a place on the top 5.
My number 4 is telepathy, because
Okay.
I agree that I think reading somebody's mind would be good, but I don't think you really want to know that much what other people are thinking. So that's why I couldn't put telepathy any higher than number 4.
I mean, I definitely don't want to know what anyone's thinking about me, but if I could block that out, maybe. But other than that, yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay, what's your number 3?
So my number 3 is X-ray vision, and in terms of practicality standpoints, I think it would actually be one of the most useful things. And I know we kind of already have it, but I'm talking about police on scene of barricaded gunman situations, or fire departments being able to see if anyone's in a house, things like that. I know we already have thermal and everything like that, but how many times do things like that actually get used in the real world, right? If everyone has access to X-ray vision, you would be able to see a lot better and see things more clearly, I guess, than we do now.
I understand what you're going for. I wouldn't put X-ray vision on my list, but I could see where it would be really helpful in certain situations. Like, get the X-ray guy.
Yeah.
Get old X-Clops.
It's like, yeah, it's like, I hate using, I'm not going to use that analogy. You could use it in any like business setting. Like, oh, what's Johnny doing in his office? Is he sleeping? The door's shut. Let's take a look. Things like that.
Yeah, you're gonna cross a line pretty fast.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
You're gonna get yourself into some trouble with X-ray vision pretty quickly.
Didn't say
like it's not gonna take a long time.
Didn't say it was lawful, but
my number 3 is super intelligence.
Okay.
The only reason I wouldn't put super intelligence any higher is because I don't really think being smart gets you that far. I think it's actually in some ways would be a curse.
I actually don't have super intelligence on the list because 2 things. One, being super smart, like you said, seems to be looked down upon. And 2, we don't need any more AI type things in this world. All right. We don't need any more super smart anything. All right. Let's just be a species and go from there.
Yeah. Well, that's not really what we're going to do, I don't think. Yeah. I don't think being super smart would really be that great. I think it'd kind of be just a reminder of how much everybody else sucks. Okay, what's number 2? I'm getting into it now.
My number 2 is superhuman speed.
Ooh, I thought about super speed a lot. I didn't put it on there, but I think super speed would be incredibly helpful. That'd be awesome to have. My number 2 is flight. I think flight would be a great superpower, not only for like transportation, you could get around. Even if you couldn't fly that fast, you could still go like Flight of the Bird, right? You could still get around pretty well with transportation. And you could also make a lot of money off flight. You could charge people a lot of money being like, hey, you want to fly? I'll fly you up in the sky for a little while. I think flight would be a really good one to have.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I have that as one of my few honorable mentions. But my number 1, we kind of talked about it earlier. I have superhuman strength. I mean, for multiple reasons, but say a building crumbles down, say a car's flipped over, a bus is flipped over, just call that guy. He'll come over and flip it over for you. He'll come move the rocks. He'll knock down the building if he has to. I mean, superhuman strength can be used for so many positive things.
I think superhuman strength would be very handy if you were like a demolition company or a moving company. But I don't think that you would really want to exist in the world with superhuman strength. Like, you'd be ripping people's arms off all the time.
Well, I guess you'd have to have a disclaimer. Don't shake that guy's hand. He's going to rip your arm off.
But you couldn't even like open a door. You would have to have no doors in your house, or you would just be ripping your house apart all the time.
I mean, okay, I don't disagree with you, but then you don't have doors. Then you just build a house without doors.
I'm just telling you, I think that like high level superhuman strength would be a huge pain in the ass.
Get one of those doggy doors, with like the little plastic flaps. You can just walk through it then.
Well, you just have to have no doors in your house. You'd have to have like automatic doors, because otherwise you'd just be tearing everything apart. Like, if you wouldn't be able to fix anything. Like, imagine if you tried to put together a desk from IKEA. Like, you would just rip it all up to pieces. I think it'd be really inconvenient to have super strength.
I mean, yeah, but no, I think it'd be fucking great. I would, like, I'm just thinking of like going to the gym as like like just me, and then I just show up and I'm just like benching every weight they have with one arm, Like,
That'd be crazy. You're just like picking the whole thing up. My number 1 is teleportation. I think teleportation would be the most practical superpower. You can get around easy. You can go on vacations. You could make lots of money off of it. Be like, this thing needs to be here right now. Like, I got it. I'll be there in a second.
I mean,
I think it's incredibly practical.
Once again, I think it's. I don't disagree with you that it's. I mean, it being number 1 is fine. I just feel like out of all the superpowers, you have everyone start friggin' teleporting. It's going to be a gigantic disaster.
Dude, it's not everybody can be a teleporter. This is just your superpower.
Yeah, I'm still comfortable where I had it. I'm good. I want to be strong. You know what I mean?
I think speed.
I want to be Lou Ferrigno, not Usain Bolt. Though Usain Bolt's pretty badass.
Yeah, dude, I think that worked out better for Usain Bolt than it did for Lou Ferrigno. Super speed would be pretty practical as well. What's in your honorable mention?
Well, let's see here. I put in shape shifting, but that's more like Shapeshifting is kind of like
Yeah, like what are you
teleportation.
gonna do with that, right? Unless you're like a criminal or a master criminal.
But I mean,
But then if you had one of these other powers, I think you could make just as much money legally and not have to worry about it.
I don't know if you're gonna say this is one, but it was on a list I was looking at of its immortality.
Oh, I wouldn't want that at all.
There's a small part of me, like 5%, that's like, man, it would be cool never to die, like to see the world just go and go, like But when would it be enough, right? You're right. It probably would be terrible.
Yeah, I wouldn't want immortality at all. Healing would be cool though.
Healing would be dope. I also had flight on there, and then I don't think this is actually one, but I'm gonna say it. But like being able to manipulate time, like stopping time, and you know,
Oh, that'd be really cool.
yeah, that'd be cool
Yeah. I would say healing and like time manipulation should probably be on the list.
for sure.
I don't know what I would replace I would replace intelligence with time manipulation. If you could stop time and stuff, that'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
that'd be just like right now. I wish we could live in this moment forever, Nick.